Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to Mr. Christiano Reads. Today I'm going to be continuing with Captain Underpants and the perilous plot of Professor Poopypants. Yesterday, if you remember, the boys got in trouble. They were messing around with the sign out front of the school, and Principal Krupp happened to be inside the bushes and caught them messing around with the sign to change the sign. So the boys got in trouble, and they were told they weren't allowed to go on the field trip to the pizza place. They were looking forward to it. They were going to play arcade games and eat pizza. So Mr. Krupp made them both stay at school, and they had to clean the teacher's lounge. And they decided to play some pranks on the teachers in the teacher's lounge. And then as the teachers were driving away, they were laughing and giggling. So let's see what happens with the rest of the story here. Chapter 5, The Fun Begins. An hour or so later, the buses returned to the school. All of the children got off, packed up their stuff, and got ready to go home. Mr. Fide, the science teacher, was on school bus duty. The rest of the teachers gathered around George and Harold and began teasing them. Now, that's not very nice from the teachers, but I guess the boys deserved it. "You kids sure did miss a fun field trip," said Miss Ribble. "The pizza was so delicious. Too bad you didn't get any." "I wanted to bring you back a pizza," said Mr. Meaner, "but I ate it on the bus." He threw an empty pizza box at George and Harold's feet, and the teachers howled with laughter. "Maybe you can lick the cheese off the box," Mr. Krupp roared. The teachers eventually got tired of taunting George and Harold, so they retreated to the teacher's lounge to relax. "Hey, how come it's so dark in here?" asked Mr. Meaner as he flicked on the lights. The ceiling fan began rotating very slowly. Uh-oh, what's going to happen? You remember what happened, what they put on the ceiling fan? Miss Ribble went to the sink and turned on the faucet. Suddenly, the spray nozzle sprayed cold water all over her. "Ah!" she screamed. Somebody turn off the water." The other teachers sprang up and tried to help. They all got sprayed too. The ceiling fan was rotating faster now, and some of the powder paste began flying off the fan blades. The teachers struggled with the faucet, pushing and shoving each other. Finally, somebody turned the water off, but not before everyone was thoroughly soaked. The ceiling fan was now spinning at full speed. All of the powder on the fan blades had been flung off, and it was now floating down onto the wet teachers. "Hey, what the?" cried Mr. Meaner. "What's all this sticky stuff?" yelled Miss Anthrop. Uh-oh. By now, all of the teachers were covered in gooey, sticky paste. It didn't take a genius to know that George and Harold were behind all of this. "Those brats better not have touched my diet soda," Miss Ribble shouted. She dashed to the refrigerator and swung open the door. Suddenly, thousands of tiny styrofoam pellets flew out into the room. The wind from the ceiling fan blew the pellets around and around. Naturally, they landed on the stickiest things in the room, the teachers. "Ah!" screamed the teachers. They ran out of the teacher's lounge screaming and yelling. George and Harold saw what they looked like a group of giant evil snowmen heading straight towards them. "I've got an idea," said George. "What?" said Harold. "Run!" said George. Chapter 6. Bye-bye, Mr. Fide. The next day, George and Harold's science teacher, Mr. Fide, knocked on Mr. Crupp's door. "What do you want?" barked Mr. Krupp. I've come to resign," said Mr. Fide. I just can't take it anymore." "Now hold on, bub," said Mr. Krupp. Being a teacher is hard work. You can't just quit your job when things aren't. You don't understand, said Mr. Fide. I think I'm cracking up. What do you mean? Asked Mr. Krupp. Well, said Mr. Fide, it all started a few months ago when I had this dream that I got eaten up by a talking toilet. Then I started hearing cats and dogs meowing and growling in the classroom. Then I imagined that the school got flooded with sticky green goop, and just yesterday I thought I saw a group of abominable snowmen chasing two boys down the hallway. Now wait just a minute, Morty, said Mr. Krupp. All of that can be explained. And a few days ago, said Mr. Fide, I thought I saw a big fat bald guy in his underwear fly out the window. Holy cow, said Mr. Krupp. You are crazy. So Mr. Fide handed in his resignation and left Jerome Horowitz Elementary School for the greener pastures of the Pequot Valley, home for the reality challenged. Now, where am I going to find a new science teacher on such short notice, said Mr. Krupp. Where, oh where? I don't know, Mr. Fide. Chapter 7, Here, oh here. Remember that Poopypants guy I was telling you about back in Chapter 2? Well, things hadn't been going too well for him in the past several weeks. Professor Poopypants had come to America to share the Shrinky Pig 2000 and the Goosey Grow 4000 with the world, but nobody seemed to want to hear about his inventions. They were all too busy. Laughing at his silly name. Poor Pippy Poopypants had been laughed out of every major scientific institution in the U.S. He'd been giggled out of Georgetown, howled out of Harvard, yucked out of Yale, snickered out of Stanford, chuckled out of Chattanooga State Technical Community College. Professor Poopypants was running out of money, and there was no place left for him to turn. Then one day the professor walked into a New York coffee shop and picked up a newspaper. And like a message from heaven, Pippy P. Poopypants found his answer. That's it, he cried. I'll become an elementary school science teacher. I'll work really hard, and soon people will come to respect me and see what a genius I am. Then I can introduce my great invention to the world. Pippy Poopypants was certain that the one place people wouldn't laugh at his name was in an elementary school. Kids are so accepting and loving, he said. You can always count on the sweetness and innocence of children. We shall see. Chapter 8, The Sweetness and Innocence of Children. Hello, boys and girls, said the professor a week later. I'm going to be your new science teacher. My name is... Professor Pippy P. Poopypants. Uh-oh. So much for the kids being loving, huh? They all laughed at his name. All right, settle down, boys and girls. Yes, it is a funny name. I know. But let me explain how I got my name. Please, children, settle down. It's not that funny. Let me assure you. Boys and girls, please stop laughing. All right, I'm going to count to 10, and when I'm done, I want you all to quiet down so we can learn about the wonderful world of science. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 9.5. Children, please stop laughing. I know you're all very far behind in your lessons, and we've got a lot of catching up to do. Boys and girls, stop it. I'm not going to tell you again. It's not funny. There's no reason for all of you to be laughing at my name. I'm sure we all have funny names if you think about it. Stop it right now. Okay, boys and girls, I'll just wait until you all settle down. I can wait. Uh-oh. Looks like Professor Poopypants has got himself an out-of-control class. A week later, things hadn't gotten any better. Professor Poopypants was really beginning to get angry. How am I going to get through to these children? He asked himself. Hey, I've got it. I'll create a wonderful new invention. All right, so there you have it. That's chapters 4 through 8 in Captain Underpants and the Perilous plot of Professor Poopypants. Well, Professor Poopypants has got himself into a little bit of an issue now. He's becoming a teacher and can't get the kids to stop laughing at his name. So he's going to come up with a new invention. Will it work? We don't know. We'll have to wait and see. All right, everybody. Have a great day. Hope you come back for the ending of Captain Underpants and the Perilous plot of Professor Poopypants. Have a good day. Goodbye.